All right. So we've established that going digital is no longer a luxury; it's probably a necessity. And and now the fact that individually we've established that going digital is a priority, and the fact that a number of our participants today are probably at the conceptual stage, let's really explore how can you grow your businesses. And when we talk about growth, it's just not talking about pure numbers, but it's also a lot of qualitative aspects in terms of building your brand, your enhancing your brand visibility. I'm sorry, and developing an ecosystem of partners around yourself to be able to give you that necessary push once your organization is out there and serving its customers. So there are shrinking profit margins because cutthroat competition has made life very difficult for field services businesses. And whether you are in the construction industry, or you're providing some kind of household support to your end customers, I think there is enough and more competition in the market, which are making things very difficult for organizations like yourself. Additionally, we also touched on the fact that there is an aspect of evolving consumer expectations, and the ability that consumers today would want the opportunity to be able to handle a majority or a part of their request themselves. They want self-service options. They don't want to be standing in a queue, or they don't want to be really looking at talking to a customer service agent after being online for 20 minutes. So shrinking profit margins, evolving customer expectations, and the first alternative that a lot of service organizations do is selling on popular aggregator platforms. And it could be any aggregator platform which your industry subscribes to. But primarily, how this entire thing works is, if you are able to sell directly to your customer, you really pocket the entire revenue that comes out of that particular customer. So if you sell a good, and if you sell a service for about 100 pesos, you pocket the whole of 100 pesos yourself, minus of course the costs that entail into going into serving that customer as such. However, if you were to sell via a third party aggregator or a marketplace, you would actually incur about 15 to 20% of commission charges, which you will have to pass on to the third party, because they were the one who actually facilitated the transaction in the first place as such. um, and it's understandably, it's a very difficult time for service delivery providers, and with the profitability at an all-time low, it's probably counterintuitive to be passing on that kind of margins to aggregator platforms. And while you might argue that there are a lot of benefits to such aggregator problems, let's really touch on the benefits and also on the challenges. All right. Not to mention that some of the challenges which you might incur while working with any of these aggregator platforms is the fact that you don't own the relationship with your customer. And when I say you don't own your relationship with your customer, everything that happens um, on that platform is via the aggregator or the third party platform. So you do not own any data, or you have no insights into the likes and the dislikes, or the preferences of your customer, which entail has you to lose the opportunity to build a more targeted or a more loyal customer base as such. Secondly, there is a lack of control over the brand visibility for your organization. So when I say lack of brand visibility, it is probably the fact that your organizations do a lot of work in providing superior customer experience, superior service, but unfortunately this does not at all translate into any kind of brand recall. That's because if I was to buy a product today from Amazon or from Lazada or from any other e-commerce store, if I am talking about retail and I'm happy with the purchase, I'll probably drop in a positive feedback. But across my entire network of friends or on social media, I'll probably go on and say, you know what, I bought this product from Amazon or Lazada and it was perfect. I loved it. Well, in fact, it's actually been supplied by a retailer or a third party organization, and it has only been facilitated by Lazada. So there is a lack of brand visibility on any of these third party platforms, which obviously deter any long term growth ambitions which your organization might have in terms of building long-lasting relationships, and eventually translating it into a higher CLV, or a customer lifetime value, as we all know it. All right. Um, you would also have no aspect that of providing a superior customer service. So if you do not own the relationship with probably your end customer, and if you have, for example, an unsatisfied customer who goes ahead and badmouths your organization on social media channels or on third-party platforms, it will actually hinder a lot of your the good work which you've been doing. And while that could be absolutely unjustified from the customer's end, and you probably know it, but there is no way where you can actually go ahead and dispute that claim. Even if you do, there are chances that you would probably end up losing at least 30 to 40% of customers reading that review as such. What if you were to own this relationship with your end customer, and instead of him going ahead and writing on social media platforms, maybe having an own channel of communication would give you that kind of access to be able to serve him better at some level. And of course, not just does it translate into a better or a satisfied customer, the potential damage to your brand reputation also is lower in this case. And I think I touched on this. There is an inability to curate effective marketing campaigns if you don't own the channel, or if you don't own the relationship with your customer, because you do not know any kind of data, or you do not know any kind of his preferences, likes and dislikes, or anything whatsoever with the end customer as such. So without access to any of that data, you cannot create targeted marketing campaigns, or in any case be able to serve the customer or provide him any kind of personalization which you would have wanted and otherwise. So there are a lot of advantages to um, having your own channel. But what we do suggest is what we call as a hybrid strategy, because we also understand that those aggregator platforms might give you that kind of traffic which you would take probably a few years to build, if you were to start with your own market, your own channels as such. So adopting a hybrid approach might actually be a smarter strategy. And when we say a hybrid approach, we really talk about the fact that you continue to sell products or services on external aggregator platforms. This will help you cater to those customers who might be exploring alternatives, or who might be ambiguous with terms of their requirements, and they must be just shopping around to see what options they have. And second is, of course, maintaining your own service delivery channel where you actually help develop a loyal customer base. So with this, let's quickly touch base on some of the numbers on each of these, but I won't go too deep into them. So assuming you have 1,000 customers a month, which with 1,000 ticket size for each order, if you own the channel, you would probably make the maximum amount of money. So I'm not going to be running you through each of these, the revenue assumptions and the partner commissions and whatever, because we have a template which we will be sharing with you at the end of the workshop. You can plug in your own numbers to see what might be the most optimal approach which your organization might want to follow as such. But the clear-cut winner is having your own channel. It's primarily because one of all the enhanced qualitative factors, but secondly, if you were to not pay any partner commission, and even if you had higher additional costs, and by costs we are talking about anything which relates around development of app and maintenance of their application, providing external access, payment gateway charges, including maybe an expensive marketing budget, you would still end up making more money and owning that relationship with your customer rather than just subscribing to a third-party aggregator. The key takeaway from this slide is, in the long term, all the costs involved in maintaining and marketing your individual channel will pay for itself. Needless to say, this will translate into a better customer experience and a higher brand visibility, which would in turn drive significant business value for your organization. So now that we know that, probably having your own channel is a good approach to providing services to your customers, or probably looking at a hybrid strategy might be the way to start, and eventually trying to shift focus towards your own channel would probably be a great idea. But this is all looking outwards. Let's look at what you as an organization need to do to be able to better optimize your operations, to save costs, and in turn improve the customer experience. So looking inwards also, there is an internal need for streamlining different processes, for automating different processes, removing inefficiencies or manual errors which might occur, and which might actually translate into time, cost, and poorer customer experience and such.